It's time for the Commanders and Eagles for the NFC title. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we only have 3 games left in the NFL season. I know it's sad. I get it. This season just absolutely flew by. But I just want to say thank you to you guys for all the support during the entire NFL season. This is our 3rd NFL season on the channel, and it's been a lot of fun. Been a great ride, and it's fun talking sports and NFL with you guys every single day. So just want to say thank you. But quick heads up, there's a separate video for the AFC Championship game between the Bills and the Chiefs. We will preview that, give our best bets. That will be out a little bit after this video, so be sure to stay tuned for that and check it out. But before we get anything, I got to talk about OUTLIER. It is the best betting research tool on the market today. I use this every single day. Any graphics you see are from OUTLIER. If you guys want to give it a shot, click the link below. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's start us out with a dad joke. So here we go. My grandma is 80% Irish. We call her Iris. Pretty good, huh? Anyways, in this video, we are going to recap the divisional round. That's right. We have not done that yet, and we're going to do that in this video. And then we're going to preview and give our best bets for the Commanders at the Eagles for a shot to play in the Super Bowl. And then we're going to finish it with the recap like we always do. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to continue to help this channel grow like you guys have been doing every single week. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. The Discord link is also below if you want to come join. It's completely free. We talk sports, got a lot of smart people in there as well. But let's get this rolling, and that means it's recap time. All right, here it is, the divisional round recap. You know what? 1-3 Saturday, 2-2 Sunday. Just have not been able to just find our footing yet in the playoffs. But Saturday, Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing TDs. We got the job done. Plus 116 winner as they scored $1 million against Detroit. CJ Stroud under 230.5. This Texans-Chiefs game absolutely just broke me on Saturday. Stroud went over this on his last drive of the game. Xavier Worthy over 5.5 receptions. He had 5 catches on the hook. But guess what? He could have had 6 because the ball was thrown right to his hands at the line of scrimmage, and he drops it. Nothing you can do. He ends with 5. David Montgomery over 14.5 receiving yards. I took a chance here on someone who's been dominating that line, but he was coming back from injury. Just wasn't used that much in the receiving game. That was a bad read on my end. So 1-3 day there. And then Sunday we go with the 2-2 split. Under 44 Rams Philly. We had a chance. We absolutely had a chance in this one. It just did not work out. With some turnovers did not help at the end of the game as well. But we lost that one. And then Dallas Goedert over 3.5 receptions. Nice 1-unit winner there. I think he got his 4th catch in the 3rd quarter. And the Bills on the money line for a half unit. Gotta love that one. A little bit of help from Mark Andrews, obviously, but that was one heck of a game to watch. So nice to get that winner. And Lamar Jackson, speaking of that game, over 52.5 receiving yards. I think he had like 36 at halftime and then decided, I just don't feel like running in the second half. It's just not going to happen. So part of that is they ran the ball with Derrick Henry a little bit more and got that going. But either way, that's what it is. Like I said, playoff record 7-11, down 2.32 units. That's why we've been keeping some of these bets to half unit. Playoffs can be tricky, but we were up 11.05 on the season. So that's the bets recap for the divisional round. And before we get to the Commanders and Eagles, we got to tell you about the new promo with DraftKings. All right, here it is, guys. The new promo with DraftKings, limited time only, so go take advantage if you can. New customers, all you got to do is bet $5, get $200 instantly in bonus bets. So you click the link below, you sign up, you go deposit $10, and then you bet $5. No matter win or lose, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I mean, it is an incredible deal. If you were looking at new books and wanted to think about signing up with DraftKings, now is a great time. I always recommend, if you're in a state that's eligible, to have as many books as possible so you can line shop and do all that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure you guys know this. Again, use that link below to get this promo. But of course, you must be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we are heading out to Philadelphia where the Eagles host the Washington Commanders. Eagles -6. Total in this one is 47.5. We're going to preview this game before we give our 3 best bets, and I'm pretty sure no one had the Commanders in the NFC title game. This is absolutely crazy. Great work by Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels. First time head coach and quarterback with this team. Dan Quinn's not a first-time head coach, but matchups this year, you guys probably already know, but they split the season series. First game was back in Week 11. Eagles won at home 26-18. Commanders had a 10-6 lead heading to the 4th quarter, and the Eagles went absolutely bonkers, scoring 3 TDs in the 4th quarter. And then Washington scored a touchdown with 31 seconds left to cut it to 8. Hurts, 18 for 28 that game, 221. Saquon ran all over him, 26 for 146. Commanders stats: Daniels 191, 1 TD, 1 pick, just an okay game. Brian Robinson 16 for 63. Daniels did not do much on the ground, and no Washington Commander receiver had more than 1 catch. That's right, 14 catches combined by Eckler and Ertz in that one. Second game was recently in Week 17. Commanders won 33-26. Kenny Pickett played after Hurts left, injured with a concussion in the first drive of the game. Commanders had a turnover on downs and 2 fumbles to fall into a 21-7 hole before coming back to win that game. And guess what? They have not lost a game since. So the opposite happened in this game. The Washington Commanders outscored Philly in the fourth quarter 22-6. So the fourth quarter has been absolutely explosive in these 2 games so far. Commander stats in that one: Daniels threw for 258 and 5 TDs against the number 1 pass defense. Jaden also ran it 9 times for 81 yards, had a huge game. Robinson struggled on the ground. Zacchaeus had 70 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. McLaurin 60 and 1 touchdown. And then for the Eagles side, even though it's Kenny Pickett, Saquon ran crazy again. 29 carries for 150 yards. Pickett did okay, but Pickett, all he did was pretty much throw it to A.J. Brown. He had 8 catches for 97 yards. And then we'll see how this fourth quarter goes, but it's just been crazy when we've watched these 2 teams play, how they all just pick it up offensively in that fourth quarter. But Commanders coming in now on a 7-game win streak, including wins over the Eagles, Falcons, Buccaneers, and Lions. They have scored 23-plus points in 7 of the last 8 games now. The one miss was versus Saints. Go figure. Injuries. Commanders guard Sam Cosmi, I don't know how to pronounce it. He is out after hurting his ACL last week. And then the Eagles starting cornerback Quinyon Mitchell. Obviously, we know how good he is. He is questionable. That would be a big loss for Philly. And then Nakobe Dean. We know he's on the IR. He hurt himself a couple weeks ago, but again, a loss for their run defense. Now, some against the spread trends and all those numbers. Eagles are 5-1 against the spread in this division, NFC East, which is obviously the same division as the Commanders, if you don't know. Philly is also 8-3 ATS last 8 games. Commanders 4-1 ATS last 5 games. Both teams obviously playing well. So that's the preview we got. I have 3 best bets. Let's get into it with bet number 1. And all 3 of these are going to be a half unit because there's nothing I absolutely love, but there is 3 that I like. So we're just going to spread them out. Commanders team total over 20.5 at -110 on FanDuel is bet number 1. I like what I'm seeing from this Commanders offense right now, and let's talk about them. As you can see by this outlier screenshot overall, they're over this in 15 of 19 games this year. And one of those 4 misses was Jaden Daniels' NFL debut. They're averaging 29.11 points per game, 5th best in the NFL. It's uncommon to get a 20.5 line for a team that's the 5th best offense in the NFL. But Jaden Daniels is amping up his running game right now, and that's what I love to see. Because if this team wants to take that next step, it's always with Jaden Daniels using his legs as well. We know what he can do when he throws it. Washington 2nd in passing yards, 6th in rush yards. Very balanced team here. If Quinyon Mitchell is out for the Eagles, I like this even more. Obviously, that would massively help out guys like Terry McLaurin in this past game. This will be the 3rd time they've seen the Eagles defense, so they're not going to be surprised by anything. Let's talk about that matchup because they are a good match. They're a tough matchup, obviously, but the Commanders did get 18 and 23 first downs in those first 2 games versus Philly. They showed that they can move the ball. This Eagles defense, top 3 defense in the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and say they're terrible, but they can still be beat. They just gave 402 yards to Stafford and the Rams, and Stafford is an absolute statue. Now they have to deal with Daniels. Gave up 302 total yards to a very injury-ravaged Packers team. To end the season, they also played the Panthers, Steelers, Cowboys, and Giants offenses. So they have not been tested very much except for that Rams offense last week, which you saw they got 400 yards on them. Commanders on fourth down also, just something that might continue some drives. Number 1 team in the NFL, converting a ridiculous 81.25% of fourth downs. Quinn is not afraid to roll the dice, as we have seen. Red zone, it's going to be a good matchup. Commanders, top 6 red zone offense versus a top 6 red zone defense. So overall, Jaden Daniels is so dynamic, has a lot of weapons everywhere. McLaurin, Zacchaeus, Ertz, Eckler, and then his own legs, obviously, as well. So I just like the way they're playing. I think 20.5 is just a little bit too low. So I also lean Washington +6 in this game. I almost bet that instead, but instead I'm going to focus on just the Commanders offense. So give me Washington team total over 20.5 as my first best bet. And now let's get to that second best bet. And I like this one. It's a player prop. Give me Austin Eckler over 21.5 receiving yards at -115 on BetMGM. Again, another half unit. And for this one, we're going to hop into OUTLIER. So let's go check out some Austin Eckler numbers here. So we're going to start out with 2024. Over a 9 of 14 games, averaging 30.93 receiving yards per game. And the reason he hasn't played more games because he was out for a little over a month. And if you're curious real quick how he has done on the road as well, what you can do is you go up there, You click on road games, and then it shows you exactly what he's done. And he's over in 7 of 8. We will take it, averaging 42.25. He's averaging to about 12 more yards per game. They have absolutely used him on the road. He actually has 40 plus receiving yards in 5 of those 6 overs, which is pretty crazy. Possible ladder spot here. Now let's check out. Now we can take off the road so we can just look at the regular games again, and we'll look at the last 5. So if we go up there to the last 5, there we go. These 2 unders, as you can see, so he's over in 3 of 5, but the 2 unders, one was from an injury when he got left the game early, and the other one's the first game back when he had a limited snap count. So just wanted to point that out as well. But he had a 20, 26, and 41 receiving yards in the 3 games since coming back from that injury. And also, as you can see by that first game right there in the last 5, how about an 89-yard game against this exact same Philadelphia Eagles team? He did not play the second game versus Philly, in case you're curious. But let's scroll down, just kind of look at how he's done this last 5. He has 9 catches on 10 targets in the last 3 games. Very efficient. 4 targets in each of the last 2 playoff games. And I think 4 targets, 4 catches should easily get him over this total. And then if you look at that game versus Philly, 8 receptions on 9 targets. And if you go over to average yards per reception as well, that's what he's averaged the 3 games since back from injury, averaging 10, 8.7, and 10.3 last 3 games. So, you get 3 catches for 10 yards a pop, and you're over this pretty easily. So if we go over there to the matchup now, that you can see versus running backs, it shows you they're the 10th fewest receiving yards allowed to running backs. So it's a below average matchup, not a terrible matchup. But we've already seen Eckler absolutely dominate. And what I also like about this matchup is Philly can get pressure on Daniels, as we all know, with that D-line. I think it's going to lead to a lot of dump-off passes like we saw last time with Eckler on the field. I think attacking these linebackers is going to be a lot better idea than attacking the secondary. Eckler can be a huge help for Daniels as a little outlet, obviously, in a dump down against this Eagles pass rush. I think it's going to be in the game plan again. I'm not sure why this number is so low. So give me Eckler over 21.5 receiving yards as my second best bet for this game. And then the third one, who wants an under? How about A.J. Brown under 16.5 receiving yards, minus 110 on Bet365 for another half unit? He just doesn't look very healthy. And I'm going to be honest, his quarterback's not healthy either, as you guys all know. So it's going to be a tough combo. But Brown's numbers lately, in the last 3 games, he has a total of 6 catches. 3 total catches on 10 targets in the 2 playoff games so far. That's right. We're talking their number 1 receiver has 3 catches in 2 playoff games. He's just not been happy this year, that's for sure. But Eagles are one of the most run-heavy teams in the NFL. That's a big part of it. Hurts has only attempted 20 and 21 passes these last 2 playoff games. And in fact, he has 22 or less pass attempts in 5 of the last 6 games. I'm not counting the game he got injured. His pass attempts line for this game is 24.5. It is hard to get yardage as a wide receiver when you have that low of the passing volume as a team. So Brown could always catch a deep one and we get screwed or something like that. But well, not screwed. He's a good receiver. But the passing game and the connection between them two right now is just bad. They're both hobbled. They both just haven't had much of that connection all year long. And then if you look at the matchup, Commanders have given up the 13th fewest yards to receivers, so about an average matchup there. He went over in both games versus Washington this year, but again, this past game is not only worse, but it's also less volume right now. In those 2 overs, he barely went over with 65 in November. He went over with 97 because Kenny Pickett was a quarterback. He had a much better connection. I mean, he was peppering him with targets. We talked about it earlier this year. And now it's Jalen Hurts. For a guy who was averaging 4.4 catches and 11 yards per reception, 60.5 is just too high of a number. That's what he's been averaging lately, especially considering that both are hobbled and just do not look like themselves right now. I'm expecting Saquon to run the crap out of the ball like he always does. So give me A.J. Brown under 60.5 receiving yards, and that is my third and final best bet for the NFC title game. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. There it is, the 3 best bets. Commanders team total over 20.5 for a half unit. Austin Eckler over 21.5 receiving yards for another half unit. And then A.J. Brown under 60.5 receiving yards as my third and final bet for a half unit. As you can see there on the bottom, I also lean +6 with the Commanders if I had to take a side. I almost did take that over the team total, but just wanted to let you guys know. So that's what I got for the NFC title game. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you haven't already, hit that like button and be sure to go check out that AFC title game preview and best bets video coming out a little bit after this one. But hope you guys all enjoy some championship football this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.